Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Transformation Talk with Teri. And it's a Thursday. Hello, I hope you're all doing well today. I see a few people have come on. Astrid, Deb, Linda, Michelle, hello, and welcome. And as you come in, please share this out with others. Share it out with anybody that you think could use some uplifting energy, and let's just roll with it. Let's get together and support each other. That's what this is all about. We've been doing this now, it'll be almost 2 full weeks that we've been doing it and looking at different topics. How did you all like yesterday's show with Jason? Wasn't he amazing? And the things that he taught us, with the tapping. I loved the tapping we did to de stress. And that's something that we can use definitely with today's topic, which is relationships. Anybody want to talk about relationships today? Let's see some show of hands if this is something that you would like to explore. Hello, Nicole. Thank you for coming on. So, relationships, every day I listen and I say, all right, Spirit, what do you want me to do today? What's the topic? What inspiration are you giving me to share out with others? And, when I heard relationships, I just laughed. I laughed. And I talked to my spirit guides, and I'm going, look, guys, you all understand, right? That every romantic relationship I've ever had has been dysfunctional. And a lot of the non romantic, just friendship relationships have also been dysfunctional. So I was like, okay, what are y'all doing here? What are you doing to me, Spirit? Because this is not, definitely not an area of expertise for me. But you know what? I heard somebody just the other day, and I apologize to whoever it was that I don't remember the source, and I'm going to paraphrase what they said. But it's like when we have what we don't want, or when we're in the midst of what we don't want, it shows us more clearly what we do want in our lives, in our relationships, in our interactions with others. So that just made so much sense to me. I was like, maybe I, at some point in my future, will have a healthy, functional relationship that's of the romantic nature. Meanwhile, I'll work on that relationship with me. I'll work on making my relationship a functional, healthy relationship. So, what Spirit was showing me is, we're talking about relationships, and most people think that means, the romance, the spouse, the partners, but it really means all relationships. Does that make sense? Anybody getting this? And I just want to stop and say hello to those that are jumping on. Steve Hickey, hello, my friend. Thank you for coming on here. Cheryl Ann's here. Israel, oh, my darling Israel, thank you so much for coming on. Please join Israel Saturday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. He's going to have an awesome family reunion gathering, and I'm really hoping I'll be able to be there for that, Israel. And who else came on? JD, hello, my darling. I haven't seen you in years. I hope you're doing well. All right, so we've got quite a few people that have jumped on, and I wanted to see what you think about this topic and what you think about the twist, kind of, that Spirit's putting on it. That, when we work on relationships, we're really working on ourselves. We're not, yeah, you're going to do some work with the interaction and all of that in a relationship, but it's really what's in here, what's going on inside of here. So when I looked at relationships, I was like, oh my God, that's not a 30-minute show at all. That would be more like 30 days, maybe, that we could cover some topics and really get into a good discussion about relationships. But we're going to go with what Spirit showed me to bring out. And I want to just scroll back and look at what some of your comments are for this. Oh, yeah, Deb. It says though Spirit is testing us. I think we're passing the test, honey. I think, we're becoming more aware. The energy is higher. So we're able to see more clearly the things in our life and what's happening, what's going on, and then work on ourselves. That's huge. That's really where what it all comes down to and what we are needing to have right now. I want to say hello to Sabrina. And Star, hello. I haven't seen you on here in a while. Hi, Louise. Who else came on? My dear Gerald Ann is here. Christine Young and Suzanne. And Susan, hello. Karen Gower. Oh, it's so good to see all of you on here. Yes, Christine, you're working on me, myself, and I. Exactly. And that's the relationship that we have to work on. If we can't take care of ourselves and be okay with ourselves in every aspect, it's not just one thing. Remember when I started this show, I said we're not going to look at transforming one area. We have to look at everything, everything. Okay, Israel, I think this is on my timeline, honey, but let me just go ahead and do that on my phone. Okay, there we go. It's on my timeline now. So, yes, we're asking people to invite as you come in, to please invite your friends, invite those who could benefit from this discussion. People, this is such a huge, huge area that we need to look at. It's like if we can't get in touch with our overall, we're talking about the spiritual self, the mental, the emotional, and the physical. All of those aspects of us we have to be okay with. Or when we get into an intimate relationship, or even when we get into a friendship relationship with another person that's intimate in our lives in a way where maybe we share things, maybe we have communication every day or as often as possible, then something is going to go wacky if we're not okay with that part of ourselves. So that's why Spirit brought this up and said, let's work on this. Let's look at this. So what's the number one thing that happens when you're in a relationship? And remember what I said, it's not just romantic relationships. We're talking about relationships of all kinds. This could be a romantic partner. This could be a family member or members. It could be friends. Okay. It could be in your job, your coworkers. What's the number one thing that happens in any relationship? I'm just going to throw it out there and see what kind of answers I get. So while we're waiting for answers, and please do start putting those in the comment section. Please keep sharing this out as well. And thank you. So what happens in relationships? Let's see what you all are going to come up with as the number one thing that you see that happens no matter what the relationship is. What happens in when we are entering or are in a relationship with another person? There you go, Christine Young. Thank you. Thank you. Whoops. Well, yeah, communication and growth. This was scrolling pretty fast. I was trying to put that one up there. And hello to those of you just coming in. We're talking about relationships. Wendy Kales, I do see you, darling. I see you. And hi, Michelle. Arguments. Yes, Deb. So we're asking the question, what happens in relationships? What's the one thing that we all deal with, no matter what type of relationship it is? If we're in a relationship of any kind, even with ourself, okay? Even that relationship we have with ourself, that relationship that we have with spirit, with our God, our source energy. This is something that's going to come up, isn't it? It's going to be some kind of conflict, something that you disagree on. Miscommunication. Thank you, Gerald Ann. Passion. Yes. And what else? Communication and growth. Arguments. Right. Okay. Thank you. Those hurt. Thank you, Margaret Ellen. Yes, all of those things. But let's work on one area today because this is what Spirit wanted me to talk about. Like I said, we've only got a limited amount of time on this show, but I always give you something at the end of the show. I call it a gizmo. I don't call it a tool anymore because, we're not building anything. We are learning how to use different tools. They are tools, but different aspects of things and bring them into our life. So we're collecting a basket full of gizmos, and every day you've been getting one every day on the show. So if you're missing some of these shows, I am posting it on YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Angelspeakers, and you can find all the shows there because in every show you're given something to take away with, something that will help you to further look at the things that we discuss on the show and what that's all about. So when I was talking to my spirit guides and I'm giving them I am really not the person to be talking about relationships. But Spirit assured me I am exactly the person to be talking about it because I've been through so many types of relationships, not just romantic, but also friendship, family, all these things that I've learned from. And I've learned by seeing the things that I don't want, so I know what I do want, and the things that I do want that I want more of. So it's going to be something where we're going to look at conflict. This is what they showed me. We're looking at conflict, and believe me, I have had my share of that in my life. So let's look at how we can deal with those that we're in relationships with. And again, not just any relationship. Thank you, Karen Palmer. Thank you for posting that, honey. That's my YouTube channel for any of you that want to go and look up the prior shows that have broadcast over the last 2 weeks. And hello to those of you who are coming on. And thank you. Janelle says, my first time here. Wow, what an amazing thing to talk about for my first time. Because my daughter is constantly trying to start arguments with me. She hates that I have started on my spiritual journey. I think a lot of us find that with family and friends that don't understand what it's all about. So thank you for bringing that up. And yeah, we're going to talk about conflict and conflict resolution and what are some things that we can do? What are some takeaways that I want you all to have, that Spirit wants you to have from talking about conflict? If you're in any type of relationship, there's going to be something that you disagree on. None of us are clones. We don't think exactly like the other person that we're working with, that we're in that relationship with. And that's a good thing. That is actually a good thing because you want to be an individual. Even if you're in a relationship, let's say a romantic relationship, you have a partner, a spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be, you still want to maintain your own individuality. So learning how to speak up for yourself is imperative to keep your own thoughts, your own feelings, letting your wishes and your desires be known, and letting your own personality come out in that relationship. You're not going to like all the same foods that the other person likes, right? You're not going to like every word they use or every phrase they use. Maybe they say something that just irritates you. So you need to know how to communicate that to that other person that, I'm really uncomfortable with that. So it's a matter of opening up our throat chakra. We all have chakras in our body. The throat chakra floats around this area of our neck, and that's our communication center. That's where we're able to say those things that we want to say in a non-threatening way, in a way that person will really hear what we're saying. Yeah, absolutely, Christine. Speaking our truth doesn't mean we have to be nasty about it or put the other person down. It's a matter of saying what you feel, saying what you think, saying what you want, but doing it in a considerate way so that that other person really hears you and listens to you. Because what happens in most arguments, what happens is there's a complaint, right? Let's start there. So you identify what that complaint is. I'm not liking something here. We're disagreeing about something, and I have my thoughts, you have your thoughts. So there's a complaint about how this is going. So the first thing to do is to recognize it's a complaint and bring it out that way instead of as a criticism. Do you see the difference? If you're complaining about something that you're not liking, something that's not jiving with you, that you're not in total alignment with, you want to bring it out in a way to say, I'm not happy with this, or, I'm really not comfortable with this. That's another way to really make it more to where that person can understand that, you're not comfortable with it. Okay, let's talk about why. Let's talk about what we can do, and then resolve whatever the complaint is. But if you go into it with a finger pointing, you do this and then that other person is just going to start stepping back and saying, whoa, you're tearing me down here. You're tearing me apart. But if you just really take the time to explain what the complaint is, what the issue is that you want to deal with. So instead of criticizing and making it all about, what one person's doing or thinking or saying or the other, let's look at how this is not feeling good inside. Okay? So yes. And so if you can come from a respect standpoint, respecting that I want to speak my truth. I want to say how I feel in this situation, and I want you to hear me, and then I want to hear what you have to say and what you feel. Do you see how that's a much more productive resolution than finger pointing and saying, blaming and saying, it's your fault. You do this. No, there's no fault. Let's throw blame out the window. Let's not look at it from a blame point of view. Let's look at it from a love point of view. And what would love say? Love would say, let's work this out. Let's talk about it clearly to where we're not blaming, we're not blowing things up and getting angry about something, but we're really using our heart to communicate, heart to heart. Does that make sense? Are you all with me here? Do you feel me? I just would love to see some comments that you are hearing and understanding what is being brought out here in terms of relationships and how we can work through whatever is going on in that relationship. Okay, I see some hearts, I see some thumbs up. So thank you all for that. And hello to those of you who are jumping in here. Thank you for being with us. I love you and I thank you for coming on. So I've got some more for you, okay? So as I said, to avoid the criticism and avoid the blame, don't use the you statements. Like, you always do that, right? That's kind of, that's really criticizing, isn't it? Instead of, let's look at how maybe we can do something about the way we communicate. Instead of, I'm really not comfortable when you do that, is much more different than you always do that. Do you see what I'm saying? And then use some compassion when you're talking this out. Be respectful and be compassionate, understanding that none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. So we're all in this together. We're all working together to try to have peace and harmony in our world. And if our world includes another individual that we're dealing with on an intimate level, we want that respect. Sorry, I had to stop for a drink. I'm dealing with some throat issues here. And I have been for a couple of days. So I'm just taking a breath and letting that settle down. And if you're noticing anything where you're having throat issues, ask yourself, is there something I need to say that is stuck there? Because that's what I'm working with right now. It's like, is there something that needs to come out? And usually it's spirit prompting me to say some things that I have been keeping inside. So that's one thing you can look at if something's happening like that with you. It may not just be a physical issue. It may also be something that's bottled up that needs to come out for you. And I am seeing your comments, and thank you. Thank you, Wendy. She says she needs this today and feeling it in her heart. Good. Hi, Melody. Thank you for being here, honey. Oh, and Samuel says I'm making his evening awesome. Thank you. Hi, Maria De La O. Thank you for joining, honey. All right. So we're talking about communicating with those that we're on an intimate level with in relationships, whether that's a romantic intimacy or a close friendship, family member. So let's continue to look. We talked about not using criticism. Thank you, Deb. Yes, I've been doing the tea and honey. Thank you. So not using the criticism statements, not placing blame, not saying you always do that. Let's turn it back to how can we resolve this and use compassion and use love. Be aware of your body language. Have you ever started to have a conversation with your partner or with somebody that's maybe even your close friend, and all of a sudden you're saying something and trying to explain something to them, and on their eye rolling, it's like, oh, here we go again. That's the attitude when you do the eye rolling. It's like, here we go again. All of a sudden I'm shutting down, I'm tuning you out because I've heard this so many times. That's the implication with the eye rolling or the arms crossed. When you're having a conversation and one person starts crossing their arms, they're shutting down. So if you find yourself doing this, pay attention. Don't cross your arms. You're crossing arms as you're protecting your energy field. So if you feel like there needs to be some protection, just say to that other person, I'm not comfortable right now. Maybe you need to just walk away for a few minutes before you come back and finish the conversation. But pay attention to what your body language is saying. Is your body language saying, I'm uncomfortable, or the eye rolling saying, okay, I'm done listening. I'm not listening to you anymore. There's so much with the body language that tells you how that communication is being perceived, or even how you're perceiving it and responding to it when that person is telling something to you. So it's really important. Look your partner in the eye, or the friend, the person that you're having the conversation with. Look them in the eye, and not in a threatening manner, but look them in the eye like, okay, I want to communicate here. All right. So don't use criticism. Always keep it out, coming from love, coming from a space of love. Hi, Teresa. Thank you for joining, honey. Coming from the place of love means that you're going to have a healthy communication. If you're coming from where everything's been bottled up, you've been stuffing it down in, you've been holding on to it, that's where a lot of that throat issue comes in. I've held it back, I haven't spoken my piece, haven't said what I want to say, and then all of a sudden it's like you vomit it out. Okay, here you go. Here's everything I'm unhappy with you about. Anybody ever experienced that? I've been on the receiving end of that, and it's no fun at all. So it's best if you can deal with something right then. Deal with something when it comes up, and don't let it fester inside of you, because that just creates so many problems. Learn how to de-escalate. That's what I was talking about. If you find yourself being really uncomfortable, maybe if you're like me, when I get upset, I cry. Okay, whether I'm mad, sad, whatever. If I'm angry, I cry. So learn how to de-escalate. Learn how you can, okay, let me take 5 minutes. And you can say that if you're having an argument or you're having an interaction that's getting kind of intense, just say, let me take 5 minutes here. Let me have 5 minutes to just compose myself, compose my thoughts, and then let's continue this communication. And then come back in that heart centered place where you've taken some deep breaths and you can say, okay, now can we talk about this? And always talk on an adult level. If it's an adult you're talking to, if you're talking to a child, you want them to understand you. So use words that they understand. And we had one person earlier that said that you're having a real problem with your daughter really starting arguments with you. So come from a heart-centered place, using compassion, and say, I know this is hard for you. Try to get in that other person's space. I know that this is hard for you. I know you're having a difficult time with this. So let's look at how together we can communicate about this. And I can have my opinions, you can have your opinions, and we'll respect each other in that way. Yes, Maria, very important to deal with it right away, because when it festers up, oh my gosh, no, that's not good news at all for anybody. So one of the things that you can do is learn some of the phrases that you can use to de-escalate. What if we, okay? So you got something, some type of conflict going on, some complaint, something you're not happy about. So instead of, I want you to change, make it, what if we do this? What if we look at it this way? Taking it totally away from the I, you, to we, bringing we into the picture. What I just said about the daughter and people not understanding. Use compassion. Get in their shoes. I know this is hard. I know this is difficult. But let's look at it from both aspects, from yours and mine, and bringing it all together. I hear what you're saying. Make sure you acknowledge that other person. And if you're looking them in the eye, they're going to know that you're listening. Or if your attention has wandered off to the bird on the tree, if you're looking them in the eye, then they've got your full attention, you've got their full attention. And that's when you can communicate the most effectively. And then ask, what do you think? What do you think? It's not just a one-way conversation. If there's a conflict, something that needs to be resolved, bring both people in. What do you think about this? I want to hear your thoughts. So again, coming from compassion, coming from love, and really getting each other involved in resolving the conflict. Isn't that much better than holding it inside and flying off the handle and going into a rage about what somebody did? Let's look at it from both sides and see how together we can work on it. Yes, a good relationship always stands on we. Thank you. So, we don't want to get rid of arguments. We don't want to get rid of disagreements, because that's going to help us individualize. It's going to help us see what that other person's all about. Okay? So arguing sometimes can be very beneficial because it may bring up what each of you is all about. You'll get to know each other more through the arguments. Just make sure that in the very beginning, when you see the argument begin, exactly, put ego aside and come from your heart space and say, okay, let's work on this together. What if we work on this together? What if we each state how we feel, what we're feeling and what we want? And, just get to that point of open communication where you feel comfortable. You feel comfortable saying your truth, speaking your truth, and then allowing that other person to speak their truth and really listening and really understanding. Now, of course, every argument is not going to end in a peaceful resolution probably, or even a resolution. I mean, there's going to be times when it's like, okay, that's beyond what I can handle. That's beyond what I'm willing to compromise on, because there may be other aspects to it, but at least you've given it a try. You've given it the, okay, I'm listening, you're listening, let's talk and see if this is something that we want to really work through, because that's important to work through any of your conflicts in a relationship, no matter what kind of relationship. Okay, so starting the argument in a compassionate way. See, when you see things are escalating and you're going to know that there's going to be an argument happening, step into your heart space. Whether that means that you have to do the heart brain communication, where you place your hand over your heart to focus there and then slow your breathing. This will help you to get more into that space of allowing. When you're in that really heart-centered place, you are open to hearing what each other have to say. Yes, Teresa, open discussion. That's what you want, instead of a raging argument. When you first start it, step away and step into your heart space, and then respect each other. Whether it's a romantic or any type of relationship, respect that other person. They have something to say, so listen to what they have to say as well. Our time is up, and as promised, I'm going to give you a gizmo of the day. And the gizmo with any relationship, I don't care what kind of relationship it is. It can be a relationship with your animals, with yourself, with spirit, with your romantic partner, with your friends, your family. In any relationship, every day, and you can start with today, every day, look at one thing that you're grateful for in that relationship. Bring gratitude into the mix. What am I grateful for about this person? And, if you have to write it down or just state it out loud or feel it in your heart and hold it in your heart space, look at what you're grateful for. And then if you do that every day, especially if it's a romantic relationship, you have a spouse, a partner, what am I grateful for about this person? And every day, bring up something that you're grateful for, either for the person themselves or for what they do in your life. What's the role they play? Are they a caretaker? Are they contribute to the finances of the relationship? Whatever it may be, just bring out every day, what am I grateful for with this person in my life? And when you start to see things escalate and there's going to be an interaction that's not real joyful, again, step into your heart space. What am I grateful for in this situation? Thank you all for being here today. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm on here Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm keeping it to half an hour because I'm honoring my time and I'm honoring your time. And I really appreciate you being here. If you liked what you heard, please share it out. Even if somebody comes in and watches the replay, they're going to benefit from getting what Spirit is bringing through in these shows to help all of us as we live in this changing time. Thank you all for being here. And I will see you tomorrow. It'll be Friday. Yay. So tell your friends, tell your families, post it in your groups, post it on your timelines, and then come back. I love you. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your day or night, wherever you may be.